blind leading the blind. Hold your breath and save your hate for later. Ignore them all, the hypocrites and traitors. Darling, always keep your head up, come what may. Figure out if you're the hunter or the prey. Got the rules to follow, got the guts to disobey, bitter truth to swallow. The doubts have come to stay, and you won't surrender. You're the last one of our kind, and you won't surrender to the blind leading the blind. Choose your time and place to show resistance. Facing highs and lows, you'll surely find your way. Darling, always keep your head up, come what may. Figure out if you're the hunter or the prey. Got the rules to follow, got the guts to disobey, bitter truth to swallow. 'Cause the doubts have come to stay, and you won't surrender. You're the last one of our kind, and you won't surrender to the blind leading the blind. And you won't surrender. You're not gonna move, not a little bit, not a little bit, not a little bit. And you won't surrender. You're not gonna move, not a little bit, not a little bit, not a little bit. Got the rules to follow, got the guts to disobey, bitter truth to swallow. 'Cause the doubts have come to stay, and you won't surrender. You're the last one of your kind, and you won't surrender to the blind leading the blind.
Hello, guitar players that want the small pedalboard amp. I want the small pedalboard amp. I've dreamed of the good, everything I want small pedalboard amp for quite a while. And no one's freaking done it. There are some good contestants, some good contenders. Is that what you say? Houston Kettner has the mini amps, the Nano series. They could be, but they're stupid heads. You don't want them on your board, and they don't have effects loops. And I told them 2 years ago, make a stereo amp. Oh my God. The churchy people, the pop rock people, anyone who has Strymons, they'd all buy the shit out of it. I've been telling companies for years, make a stereo amp. No, nobody needs stereo. Bullshit. Bullshit. You know what that is? Bullshit. Because why in the world would there be so many pedals on the market that are fully stereo when nobody needs stereo? Why would Boss and Strymon and Source Audio and all these companies make the pedals? You guys are idiots not making stereo amps. Okay. But especially for the churchy and pop rocky people, for a pedalboard version with Class D dual amp. That would be cool. Of course, it has to have DI out, preferably with XLR. Preferably with built-in emulation, and then you can turn that off so that you can use your own IRs. Preferably it's small, preferably it's light. So the Dulo 830 from Cairo Audio I tested. This big, it's mono. Okay, but it's a pretty good pedalboard amp. It has a lot of the features I want, 30 watts, 299 euro, something like this, but it's mono. And has a big external power supply, like a big laptop power supply. So none of the amps out there are what I want, what I envision the perfect pedalboard amp to be. And now we have the Thermion Zero, which is not there, but it's as close to my ideal pedalboard amp as anyone's done. And that's what it looks like. And Leslie asked, why is there fish on it? Well, Leslie, clearly, because that's a Japanese koi, and Thermion are from Spain, which is very close to Japan, and that's where they grow the noodles in the Spanish noodle fields that the Japanese eat. Got a koi on it! Maybe they just like Japanese things. So, it's big. It's much bigger than I would want it to be, but there's a good reason, because this whole section on the right is actually, I guess, the power supply. It doesn't have an external power supply. You plug a normal 3-prong power Kaltgerätestecker in German in there, which is good. So no external power supply. That adds quite a bit of size. Do you want that on your board? Well, that's what they decided to do. You're not going to put this on a fly rig. Okay, fine, you have it. It's going to occupy a little bit more of your board. We have a beautiful, clean preamp. Treble, middle, bass, no gain, because it is purely a clean preamp pedal platform, or just play it clean. For all you really heavy guys, you might go and watch another video. This isn't for you. This is not the heavy pedal. Not with the built-in sounds, and even when you're pushing it with really heavy stuff, there isn't a lot of headroom. It goes into compression. You want a big headroom metal thing. Look at the Iridium edition from Blue Guitar. That's going to do what you want it to do. And if you play metal realistically, stereo is not necessary. Like, it really isn't. Let me go through a couple of features on the top here. Int preamp. That turns the internal preamp on. You can unclick that and actually use your own preamp. And there is a loop for that on the back. We're going to look at that. Effects loop can be turned on and off. And that's a mono send stereo back. Yes! And reverb. And it's got this little reverb section. Mix, small, medium, XL. Small is already pretty damn XL. So just imagine how XL will get. It's pretty damn XL. It's like XXXXL. Standby is a standby, which is nice. You can just turn that off. If you're not using it with cabs, have it in standby, but you also can just shut it up. Master volume, EQ, and then there's a 3-position brightness. I have it on 2. We're going to explore it. And then there's a headphone / XLR volume. There's a headphone out, which is compensated, and XLR on the back, which is also compensated. And that's one of my gripes. You cannot turn the compensation off. So their analog speaker modeling is what you're kind of stuck with. Unless you want to send analog speaker modeling into an IR, like a cab loader from Engel or a 2-notes cab M, you can. And maybe that gives you some room and some other frequency response, but technically you would want a dry DI signal, which it doesn't give you. Sorry, that's the one thing. A little bit smaller, okay, it might not be possible, but that's the one thing I wished for, to be able to use your own cabs. But let's see how good the cabs sound that they have. Well, you heard it in the song before because that was all DI. It doesn't look that complicated on the back because a lot of the stuff is on top of each other. So it actually goes down quite a bit further. So you can see that it's got a good height. And there's my guitar input and there's the send. So there's 2 levels of cables. Guitar input, send. Effects loop return, stereo, left and right. Preamp loop, send and return. And I have a preamp plugged into here. There's the dual XLR out. There's the phones out. And then there are 2. See? There's a second one. 2 cabs connected, 2 times 40 watt. Trust me, I have the master here, and that's already plenty loud. It's probably gonna be, ear-piercing loud if you wanted that. So, then you turn it on off, and then there's power. They crammed a lot in the back here, so the big question is how much smaller could it be? Actually, it just in terms of ins and outs, maximum it could be this much smaller. But that's probably the power supply. Okay. That means we're testing that with pedals in front. We're testing that with another preamp. We're testing the internal preamp. We're looking at the reverb. We're testing it with stereo pedals, overdrives, fuzzes, more high gain. And then, of course, we're testing the DI. Oh, I just remembered why I'm doing this. This is a really complicated video. They're paying me to do this. That's why. And if you think that's why I'm saying it's good, go away. Watch my other videos. I don't do that here. I actually fight very, very hard with companies to be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say. Wait, if they paid me to say it's all good, would I have said that I wish it had a DI that you can turn off? Or analog speaker modeling that you can turn off? Now, I wouldn't have said that if I just said whatever they put in my mouth. Just saying. I'm going to go quickly through my signal chain. We have 2 cameras on the table where you can see what's happening there. I'm going with my guitar into the Blues driver, the Wampler Plexi Mini, the JHS Crimson. So we got 3 different kinds of drives. That's going then into the Zero through the tuner, but okay. And in the preamp loop, I have this Killer V right here from Crazy Tube Circuits, which is actually killer. It's a kind of magnetone preamp with a univibe, but I turned the univibe off, and it's a pretty cool, gritty preamp, just to show that you can switch between the internal preamp and an external preamp. Then, in the effects loop, I have the Boss DD200, fully stereo, and the Boss MD200, delay and modulation. Okay. That's going in the room in a La Boga 112 on the left and a Bad Cat 112 on the right. That's the black one right in front of there. And they're being mic'd with Lewitt MTP 440s. And I just set all that shit up, recorded a little bit in the beginning, and I was like, hey, yeah, it works. Done. Didn't move a single mic, nothing. And trust me, if you've never played stereo sounds, if you've never been in the room holding a guitar, playing a big stereo sound, you're missing out on one of the prime experiences of being a guitar player. It's nice to go chugga chug chug chugga chug chug with a big ass rev head in the 412. That's an experience you should have. But trust me, the stereo experience, it's even more fulfilling. So when people are saying, oh, we don't need stereo, fuck them. Experience it. Okay? It's ridiculous. So, I hear nothing. Now I hear something. That's, of course, an Ibanez AZ 2204 TAB, which, of course, you can't buy anymore because Ibanez changes their lineup every 3 minutes. So right now you're hearing it without a preamp. You're literally just hearing the guitar into the power amp. There's no flavor, but that's what it sounds like. No, that's wrong. You're hearing the Killer V. Because I have it plugged in. So let's go to the internal preamp. Actually, wait. If I turn the Killer V off, now you're hearing only the power amp. dullish, but that's okay because you're forming it. Now we're on the internal preamp. Brightness off. It's actually already nice. I have to say from the very beginning, it's not a tube tone. Tube has that three-dimensionality. It's got depth. And a transistor kind of a preamp will not give you that. Not to be said that you can't get amazing tones. You can. But it's not a tube. And I'm not going to tell you it is, because it isn't. It does feel different than a tube preamp, but it feels good. Brightness 1. Brightness 2. So we give it a little bit of depth with the reverb on small. Turn that on. Different versions of Major 7 in G. It's got spankitude. Okay, we're gonna go through the EQ section first. Treble. Subtle but effective, I like that. Where are the mids? Let's see. That's actually pretty damn awesome because you can get a little bit Fendery or Voxy if you want that. A bit of Fendery. Right around here. Frankly, who's Frank? Frankly, is he Canadian? That's already too big for small, she said. That's got to be a smaller room. I'm sorry. If I have those three options, give me just a tiny bit of springiness or a tiny bit of room. That's that's Hallish. Or Oatsish. Ah, get it? Hallish. Can't stop playing. Medium. And now hold on to your imaginary horses. Yeah, if nobody stops me, I'm gonna sit here and do this all day long. This is so pleasing. These two little it's just, please experience it. Please. Stereo guitar is just so dandy. Okay. So the cool thing is I can turn that off. But is it trailing? Probably not. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that have been nice to actually cut it off before it goes into it instead of behind the verb? If you cut it off before it goes into the reverb tank, you'll have the trails. If you cut it off behind the reverb, you have that. But if I turn it on now, then I'm having level. I think it might have been smarter to cut it off before the reverb, before it hits the tank. Okay, so they're cutting it off after the effect. It makes more sense to cut it off before the effect, because who wants to play, I mean, in a rockin', and then you turn your reverb on. Oh, come on, Thermion people, that's clearly something you should know. Please move that switch. Come on, that's easy. That's literally the easiest shit out there. So the cool thing is I have my Killer V preamp, let's call it a preamp, magnetone kind of pedal in a box, in the preamp section, and it'll turn off the internal preamp, which is this, and give me my Killer V. Hells yeah, that works. You can, of course, have it dry. Oh, wait, no, that does nothing because I'm not using that. I'm an idiot. I'm treating it like an overdrive pedal, which it is not. So I'm going to turn the internal preamp back on, and we're gonna go with an overdrive pedal, blues driver in front of it. Even if you fuck up, that's all fine. So there was a rotary right there with the blues driver pushing it. Okay, that sounds like it. We're gonna go Plexi drive, which when I recorded with it, was pushing the Thermion Zero a little bit hard, and I was getting it to compress. I didn't put a lot of power into it. I didn't put a lot of volume into it. It might also be, according to Thermion, the DI out, which is compressing in that way. So we're gonna see how the speakers behave. Do you want to know about this? I mean, oh my God. You can pay me all the money in the world. If it doesn't sound like this, it doesn't sound like this. I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to say? What could I say about a shitty sound? Oh, it's so great. Well, you have ears? Could I do this if it was a shitty product? No, I couldn't. You guys are idiots when you say, oh, you pay chill. Okay. So that's with the Plexi drive. It works. That's with the fuzz. Okay, that's now with the Killer V. That might be a little bit too much. So back to the internal preamp. Reverb off. No, that doesn't suck. This is how playing guitar is just ridiculous fun. Stereo, cool effects, and if we go, of course, on the boss when we do the slicer. Why the fuck do we buy this stuff? To have fun. I'm having fun. I'm sorry. Okay, I know you need the other shit too, but I mean, you probably have the other shit. That's why you're watching this. Holy crap! Okay, I'm happy. I'm turning this thing off. So, let's check out the DI then. Effects loop off, internal preamp, reverb, small. Here we go. That's the level that goes into the computer now. Okay, with the drive, let's put the boost driver in front of it. Look, guys, for a DI sound, that is fine. It's absolutely great. Actually, you can record with that. Nowadays, IRs are the thing. Being able to turn the simulation off and use your own simulation would be a good thing. I think you could improve on that sound quite a bit and get super realistic sounds. Okay, but they chose not to. It is, however, very, very useful. Let's try the Wampler. Can you hear how it's compressing? And it wasn't through the caps, it's through the DI out. It's just, it's ducking. It's like, don't hit me so hard, okay? Okay, so that's something that might want to be improved. But it also shows you this is not the thing for the super heavy stuff. It's blues, ambient, it's rock and roll, it's all that. If you want to go, if you want to do the metal stuff, okay, just don't. That's not what it's for. You're not going to buy a stereo amp for a metal thing anyway, because you probably don't even play pedals, you metal people. With the fuzz. They also said it's not meant to be boosted, which of course that shows you, okay, you know, it's not what it does. Let's go to the external preamp. It is 100% most certainly the front of house solution. Again, pop rock, churchy stuff, wherever you need the big stereo sounds, ambient things, you can full on take those two XLR outs, it's not quarter inch, into the board and get very, very good sounds. You don't need to have the cabs on stage. Of course, if you have the cabs on stage, it's fun. Obviously, you wire this into your board. Let me make it bigger again. Thank you. You wire this into your board, you have it on your board with some stereo effects. It's going to be a bigger board. Fly rig, probably not. It is a slightly bigger pedal. It is a slightly heavier pedal, obviously. So, but you'll still have everything you need on your board. And I love the flexibility with the external preamp option. I love that you can turn the effects loop off. I love that you can turn the reverb off. It would have been smart to have the reverb and effects loop as switchable options, or even the internal preamp on the back with something that you can use a relay with, or like if you have a Boss ES8 or a gig rig, anything that can switch and make this pedal therefore remote controllable and wire it into your presets. So when you're switching with MIDI on your Strymons or Bosses, you can say, okay, at the same time, please go to the external preamp and turn the effects loop on or off. That would have been nice. It would have required two more, actually 3 switching functions could be done with 1 TRS cable. Now let's say 2 more switching inputs, 2 more quarter-inch inputs. They could be on the side. They could be here somewhere on the side. For example, I don't know if they don't fit in the back, but just saying, everyone's going to have their own, I wish it had that, I wish it had that. The thing is, it already has a lot. The built-in reverb is beautiful. The built-in preamp is amazing. It is fully stereo, 2 times 40 watts, fits on your board. And I think price-wise, we're looking at 600, 700, something in that vicinity, which for a full amp stereo, not too shabby. And don't say, the Blue can do that, they're using Kettner. No, none of them fucking stereo. If you want to get into clean bliss heaven, Thermion Zero, bluesy, rocky. Everything that I just played was very, very satisfying, and the Zero delivered. So, thanks for watching. Thanks, Zero, for Thermion me. Thanks, Thermion, for having me do the video on the Zero, I guess. Use my links below. They do support me, so they're affiliate links, which means I get a cut from whatever you buy. So, thank you for that. And thank you for switching, Leslie. Thank you to Switch by what? And Animals at the end.
Days wrote stories into my eyes. My inner child once more lost a butterfly wings the night my father died. Through the truth I crawl, to pieces I fall, and then lick the darkness from the skies. It's a fine line between the devil's home and paradise.